something that you're hoping you're going to be right about as the season progresses.
And I slightly have been.
Are the Washington Wizards.
There we
The
go.
Washington Wizards started out 10-3 to begin the season. And since then, they are on a 4-game losing streak. They have lost 7 of their 8. They are 8-4 at home and 7-11 on the road. 1-6 in their last 7 road games. And upcoming next, they have the Jazz on the road, the Nets on the road, the Knicks on the road.
Maybe.
What do you think about the Wizards? Were they frauds all along? I'll let you start, Drew.
They are who we thought they were. Right now, they rank 23rd offensive rating, 20th in defensive rating, and this all-world Montrezl Harrell, right, averaging 18 points a game, slowly but surely getting back to what we were expecting, that 14, 15, I think he's averaging 14.5. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Just getting back to what Trez, we know who he is. That what he's showing these last couple of games is who Trez is. We're seeing Kyle Kuzma get back to the play that we've grown accustomed to over these last couple of years, shooting 42% from the field, 34% from 3. Dinwiddie, another player who has struggled, and that's the biggest surprise for me personally. I thought Dinwiddie would be a little bit better up until this point. He has not been shooting below 40% from the field, shooting 33% from the three-point range. He's averaging under 13 points per game. That's been a huge surprise for me. And Bradley Beal, his efficiency this year just hasn't been there. And what was really at the forefront of this team's success early on was their defense. And slowly but surely, their defense has just not been what it was earlier this year. What I'm going to attest this to was a team with players that are mediocre, slightly above maybe, got off to a really hot start. And when you're in the NBA, you get hot. You're in the NBA for a reason. You have stretches where you play really, really well, but eventually reality hits and you play to the expectation of what everyone had thought you were going to play like coming into the season. I was not high on the Wizards. I thought that the trade between Russ, they got a bunch of whatever players, and I really wasn't thinking anything of it. I thought Bradley Beal would be out of there come trade deadline. He needs to understand that his time with Washington Wizards is not going to benefit his career. And to the help of, or to the credit of the rest of the guys on this team, Bradley Beal hasn't been playing his absolute best. So all around, the Wizards have just looked very, very shady. Of course, at the beginning of the season, they were playing very, very well, and I looked like I didn't know what I was talking about, but I let time play, take its course, and the Wizards are looking as I had expected. Defensively, they're falling off, and offensively, there's no one that's playing consistent at all.
These last 8 games are what has been derailing the Wizards. Look at Dinwiddie. He's averaging 9 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in the last 8 games, shooting 34% from the field and 21% from 3. Montrezl Harrell is averaging 9 points, 6 rebounds, and shooting 51% from the field in the last 8 games. And that's usually at 64%. He shoots 64% at from the field. I know what you're saying. For this season. I think Montrezl Harrell is going to pick it up. I'm not totally out on the Wizards just yet. Spencer Dinwiddie is the guy who has to play better, but 100%. To his credit, he doesn't feel like he's finding a rhythm because, in his own words, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said that the team, it's Bradley Beal and it's everybody else. Yeah. So it's Bradley Beal and everybody else gets an equal slice of the pie instead of it being Beal and Dinwiddie. And Wes Unseld Jr. said Beal and Dinwiddie have to get on the right page for us to have success. And he thinks they defer to each other too much. We've got to find a balance where they can both stay aggressive, not only to score, but to play make. The Wizards are 3-0 without Bradley Beal this season. Granted, it's been against the Pelicans, Orlando, and Indiana. They're not good teams, but they've played much better because I think Bradley Beal ices possessions because he's such an ISO-centric player and he's a ball-dominant player. Beal doesn't have the greatest handle in the world. He's not the best playmaker. He's an average playmaker at best, and that hurts the team a lot. Part of our concerns about the Wizards before the season, when Keith was on the show, we talked about it, we laughed about it. Who's going to playmake for the Wizards? They don't have any playmaker. They don't have a true point guard. Dinwiddie is a scoring guard. He's not a true point guard. Beal is not a playmaker. Right now, we see that that's playing them right now. And I just want to take a victory lap on Bradley Beal right now because Bradley Beal is somebody who I've called overrated for the past 2 seasons, but because he's averaging 30 and leading the league in scoring some weeks and all this and all that, how can he possibly be overrated? How can he not be a top 15 or 20 player in the NBA? Well, yeah, Beal was averaging 30 because he was on a team with virtually nobody. But now, once you see that Bradley Beal is surrounded by okay NBA talent, not even outstanding NBA talent, he's still the first option on his team. He just has other options that are okay now. He's down to 22 points per game on the season, shooting career lows because Bradley Beal is somebody who scored so much because he took so much shots, not because he was that great of a player. And that's what my point. Before the season, because Beal came off that year out averaging 30, some people had Beal over Devin Booker. They had Bradley Beal over Zach LaVine. They had Bradley Beal over Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, these guys. Bradley Beal's not a top 5 shooting guard in the NBA. James Harden and Kyrie are both better. Whoever you want to slide at the 2, they're both better. Donovan Mitchell is better. Zach LaVine is better. Devin Booker is better. And Jaylen Brown is better. Bradley Beal's not a top 5 point guard. He fooled all of you guys. Bradley Beal fooled you guys with his back-to-back 30-point seasons. He fooled you guys because he took a lot of shots and he got a lot of points because of it. But in reality, Bradley Beal has always been a 22 to 24 point per game scorer when he's surrounded by okay NBA players. And right now, the Wizards and Wizards fans are growing tired of the fact that Beal is failing to coexist with another point guard again. With John Wall, it happened. He couldn't coexist with John Wall. They had chemistry issues all the time. With Russell Westbrook, his lone season, the Wizards didn't start winning until Russell Westbrook took the mantle and said, okay, I'm going to start carrying now. Beal still did amazing, but Russell Westbrook took on those ball handling responsibilities, and that's why they started winning. Now with Dinwiddie, here's another point guard that can't fit with Bradley Beal because, it's hard enough for 2 guards to fit with each other. You have to complement each other's games really well. But this is yet another guard who is failing to fit with Bradley Beal. At some point, you can't look at these guys and say they're the problem. You got to look at Bradley Beal and say he's the problem. Bradley Beal has been an overrated player for the past couple of seasons, and now it's finally showing.
All right, well, you said a lot. Damn, you said damn near everything. Washington, you touched on a lot of things. I just want to go into Washington just for a little bit, just the team in general. This team just isn't a good offensive team. Aside from, you look at their numbers, 27th in 3-point percentage, 5th in 2-point percentage, so that's good. 19th in free throw percentage. This team is just not that efficient, And like you said, the defense that was so good in the beginning of the season, it hasn't been good. You look at these players. I remember, and like you said, Bradley Beal, it's hard enough when you have a backcourt and you expect them to be prolific. You need guys to mask the other guy's weakness. Steph and Klay, they work so well because Klay plays defense. Steph's not that good on defense. Steph is a great ball handler. Klay's not a great ball handler. They complement each other. The reason why Dame and CJ don't really, because they both do the same things well, but they both have the same weaknesses. The same with Dinwiddie and Bradley Beal. They both have the same weaknesses. Not that great, playmakers. Both are not that great defenders. It's the same thing. Both are kind of iso-centric. Bradley Beal, like you said, his numbers don't look great. And we need to, this year, I expected Bradley Beal to take that next step. Like, yo, this is a good team. Lead them to the playoffs. We expect this of you. You have been put on this pedestal that you're that type of guy. Lead them. And right now they're in the playoffs, but they're stumbling. I remember when you guys told me Spencer Dinwiddie and Gordon Hayward were on the same level. I really, really laughed at you guys because it was really insane.
Whoa. You guys?
No. Really, well, JC's not here, but I'm going to speak to his ghost. I really, you guys really told me they were on the same level. I tried to tell you, no, they're not. And Spencer Dinwiddie's showing you, he's
a regular dude.
It's just a bad stretch, bro.
Yeah,
they are on the same level.
I don't know, bro. This whole season, he's been mid.
Listen.
He's had his moments.
He averages 13 points a game right now.
Less than.
I rounded it.
You're generous.
Yeah, it was 12.8. I'm around it.
All right, that's 13.
So he averaged 13 points per game right now. Maybe he might kick up. Maybe he might not. Right now, he's not on Hayward's level right now, and I tried to explain.
All right.
Dinwiddie fooled you guys.
You'll win the battle. You won't win the war. Because at the end of the year, they're going to average around the same points.
Oh, my. Bro, he's going to have to turn up.
He is going to turn up.
He's almost at 20, Gordon Hayward.
Dinwiddie's going to turn up sooner rather than later, bro. Trust.
All right.
The reason why I was so passionate about that Bradley Beal thing was because last year I said Bradley Beal wasn't a top 15 player despite averaging 30 points per game. And everybody clowned it and said it was a bad take. They told me, how is Paul George better than Beal? How is Jimmy Butler better than Beal? Well, that's because you're only looking at points and you only measure the game by that. You're a box score watcher. Because when you watch the actual games, there's no way you can possibly think Beal is better than PG or Jimmy Butler. Bradley Beal is an overrated player. The Wizards shouldn't pay him. They shouldn't extend him because he's a replaceable player. His wife called out this podcast, and a Wizards beat reporter called out our podcast as well. And she's like, who are these guys saying Beal isn't a superstar? And then she was like, Ray Allen is better than Bradley Beal. Ray Allen she said Bradley Beal was better than Ray Allen.
What the?
Like, she said that. And because I said that Bradley Beal is not a superstar. He's like a Ray Allen guy. He's like a tier below, but I'm talking about Ray Allen like in Boston because we know with the Sonics and
a freak.
With the Bucks, he was a dog. And then she was like, Beal is just as good as Ray Allen. Like, yo, you don't watch basketball because Ray Allen was by far better than Beal. It wasn't even close. And now Bradley Beal is showing everybody his true colors. And yet again, another year, he's going to start complaining again, going to start pouting. And you had a chance to leave a while ago, bro. And you're still in Washington. It's his fault that the Wizards, I think he deserves most of the blame for the Wizards struggling. I do. And I think he has to figure out what he wants to be. Do you want to win and have your averages go down, or do you want to lose and be a high volume scorer? It's up to him. And he's taking a ladder.
I think he's made that choice.
But then you have to keep that same energy towards Dame. Then Dame hasn't had the same efficiencies that he's had in the past.
It's different because Dame has made a Western Conference Finals, and Portland has made the playoffs 8 straight seasons.
But Bradley
Beal hasn't made the playoffs since John Wall got injured until Russell Westbrook came.
I'm not disagreeing with your Bradley Beal point at all. I'm just saying then we have to keep that same energy.
Dame's resume is a lot better than
I agree,
Beal's.
but we're talking off this season because Dame could have left this offseason. He easily could have.
Well, Beal's been saying he wants to leave for the past 3 seasons.
Has he been saying he's wanted to leave?
Not saying he wants to leave, but Beal keeps saying he wants to win. Let me say that. He's been saying he wants to win for the past 3 seasons. And you're not dumb. You know you can't win in Washington. There's no way.
When we did the top 20 players, we named 20 players better than Bradley Beal. You know who we didn't even name? Moran, who's taking a huge leap this year.
You're taking Ja over him clean?
Easily. I'm taking Moran over Bradley Beal easily. I'm taking LaMelo over Bradley Beal easily.
So then are you taking Garland over?
I'm taking Anthony Edwards is better than Bradley Beal.
Are you taking Garland over Bradley Beal?
Not yet. But you mentioned Ant. I didn't even mention Ant.
At the time, I don't think it was ready.
Beal is not a top 6 shooting guard in the NBA. Devin Booker's better. Zach LaVine's better. Donovan Mitchell's better. Jaylen Brown's better. James Harden, Kyrie. Anthony Edwards is better.
SGA or Beal?
I'm taking SGA over Bradley Beal.
I'm not ready.